Hey guys, it's Jet888 here. It's 7:24. It's Sunday, I believe. And I just wanted to share with you what I was looking at today. I was seeing all these declared disasters, and we got the Texas Chalk Mountain Fire. We've got the North Dakota severe winter storm and flooding. That was May 25th. We've got the Minnesota severe storms, June 15th. Let's see, incident period was April to June, April 22nd. Minnesota severe storms again. Then we have a Texas Hardcastle. Guess what? Hardcastle fire. I looked at that real quick. So here's the Hardcastle fire. I was just looking at that. July 7th, that's 7/7. And the word Hardcastle, when you look at the anagram, it's cathedrals. And when you look at the date, it's July 7th, so that would be 7/7. These also are 7/7 in Gematria, Christ, Jesus, see, and sacrificed. So this is in Texas. And I'm looking here at a live UA map, it's called. And there's Waco, so there's your Texas. And what I thought was interesting, look at this, shows you all the police activity or whatever activity is going on. And look at, here's a fire. There is no containment of a destructive wildfire near Yosemite National Park that has grown into one of California's biggest blazes of the year. Now, why would they have that in Texas? So this is just a little bit north of San Antonio here. It's at the Twin. Look, if I take this away, you'll see Twin Oaks. And let's see, go from Twin Oaks and just look over here. You got a bat cave filled. And I just clicked on that, but on that fire notice. But why would they talk about Yosemite National Park? I think that's weird. There's Rockwall right there, but look, I'm just going to look more at Texas here. Structure fire working, 1200 Gregory Drive. Let's go check that place out. So we're looking there, it's in Texas. Here's the map. Look at that, the Treasury's up to the right, but we're going to go right here where that little red dot is. We're going to go to satellite. Here's Gregory Drive. We're going to put my little buddy there. We're going to drop them right there. And let's go look. And what I find is interesting, co-infinity, we exist to power you. So there's some energy, Infinity Energy Company there. There's their phone number. Now let's go look at this structure fire reported at 17500 Meandering Way. They have this reporting, it's a day ago. I'm going to put that address in to Google Maps. So we're going to look right here. There it is. Meandering Way. Look at that, DC Electric. And look at that, we come to a big power. Let's pull out, see what happens. A big power pole here. It says power lines. Oh great, you get to do your little exercising right along all these power lines. What's it say? 911 location. 911 location. Anyhow, it seems like there's a lot of consistent energy. Let's go look again, somewhere else. Now here's a San Gabriel fire, has grown to 500 acres, 25% contained, 22 different fire agencies and 6 different law enforcements with 9, see that, 9, you got your 6, your 9, your 22. So 9 planes and 2 helicopters responded. Okay, so San Gabriel fire. And that Texas Hardcastle was cathedrals. So we're gonna look at this little video and look how many views they have at 6 a.m. July 24th, 2022. And look at that, 0909 seconds. Isn't that interesting? So I'm just a little bit confused too, because here's San Gabriel. There's a fire there too, and this is in Los Angeles, and here is San Gabriel Fire Department. Here is their picture of this, and this says, photos, the aftermath of an early morning fire at the historic San Gabriel Mission, Los Angeles. Now this was published July 11th, so you've got your 11 in there. You got your 7 in there, 7-11. Here's the picture of the one in Los Angeles. So this says, 4-alarm fire tore through the church at Mission San Gabriel, July 11th. But then we have this one here too, San Gabriel fire grown to 500 acres, 25% contained. This is a Texas live UA map. So here's one San Gabriel fire, Liberty Hill. Again, the 500 acres, so Liberty Hill. So here's San Gabriel fire, this big plane dropping that red stuff. Now I saw another photo of a plane dropping red retardant also. They sure like showing their planes. So I just don't get this whole Texas thing. I don't get what I'm really seeing. It says there's no containment of a destructive wildfire near Yosemite, and then you highlight this also. A destructive wildfire near Yosemite is burned out of control. It's just one of California's biggest fires. It's weird that that's in Texas. And then we've got this fire on Tower Road and on Liberty Hill. So again, we're here at this usa.liveuamap.com, and I'm going to come down here because I put it into the USA, not just Texas or whatever, but it's USA. Here's California, and so they've got Casas Robles, and then look at this, a brush fire, now Yosemite. They use that Yosemite also. It's so weird. So of course, a brush fire near Yosemite National Park exploded in size Saturday, prompting evacuation orders for thousands of people and shutting off power, of course, the power, to more than 2,000 homes and businesses. So good, they get to relocate lots of people, just part of the agenda. So regarding that fire, there's no containment of a destructive wildfire. So one reason why I was showing these emergency situations here, because I came across this executive order 11490, assigning emergency preparedness functions to federal departments and agencies. Here's by Richard Nixon. So this was when it was published, 10/28/1969. So you go talking about FEMA, and on this last page here, I'm going to take this link, presidency.uscb.edu/node/255823. When I come up to this presidency.ucsb.edu documents, executive order, assigning emergency preparedness functions, federal departments, and this is the American Presidency Project, shows Richard Nixon here, executive order, assigning emergency preparedness functions. And you know what's weird? I kind of thought was sort of weird. I mean, this was way back in 1969. They have Obama there, and there's Trump. Now, why would he be in a 1969 document? And I will leave this for you, but whereas he talks about national security and the virtue of authority invested in him as president, as amended the Defense Production Act of 1950, it is hereby ordered as follows. And he gives the purpose of the scope: Department of State, Department of Treasury, Department of Defense, Department of Justice, Post Office Department. That's whose line you're going to have to wait in to get your assignment when you're sent to your internment camps. Now it tells about all these different departments. There's your Federal Power Commission, National Science Foundation, Railroad Retirement Board, Securities Exchange Commission. Anyhow, it goes here. Section 101, Purpose. The order consolidates the assignment of emergency preparedness functions to various departments and agencies heretofore contained in 21 executive orders and 2 defense mobilization orders listed in Section 3015 of this order. Assignments have been adjusted to conform to changes in organization which have occurred subsequent to the issuance of those executive orders and defense mobilization orders. Here's your, remember that 102, remember that, event 201? You just flip that around a little bit. Let's go look at this. So we're looking at the Department of Defense and National Preparedness and Military Readiness. Military readiness. So the basis foundation of our overall national preparedness posture and are fundamental to our ability to survive. Yeah, we need them. The departments and agencies of the federal government are hereby severely charged with the duty of assuring the continuity of the federal government in any national emergency type situation that might confront the nation. To this end, each department and agency with essential functions, whether expressly identified in this order or not, shall develop such plans and take such actions, including but not limited to those specified in this order, as may be necessary to assure that it will be able to perform its essential functions and continue as a viable part of the federal government during any emergency that might conceivably occur. These include plans for maintaining the continuity of essential functions of the department or agency at the seat of government and elsewhere through programs concerned with, and then it talks about pre-delegation of emergency authority, safekeeping essential records, like they did in the Marburg, what's that called? The Marburg, Oklahoma bombing. They really kept safe those records for all those militaries that got nailed with Agent Orange, that were just getting ready to do a lawsuit against the government. But, you know, when the building blew up, the Murrow building, then there went all the records and evidence of the Agent Orange harm to our military members. Emergency, here you go, emergency relocation sites supported by communications and required services. Communications, emergency relocation, just like what they're having near this Yosemite National Park, prompting evacuation orders for thousands of people. Alternate headquarters or command facilities. I wonder if that includes Mount Weather, the Emergency Operations Center. Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center is a government command facility in the U.S. Commonwealth of Virginia, used as the center of operations for the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Yeah, FEMA. It could also be looked at as FAME, F-A-M-E. Also known as the High Point Special Facility, HPSF. That could be, look at in the back too, the San Francisco, but it's not, I'm sure. But HPSF is preferred designation since 1991. Isn't that funny? HPSF, which isn't in their database, but it will be. It's God's ID. Marco Polo, God's ID. Escape, Thing, Island, Shanghai, Bill Gates. The simple gematria, it's also Lord, born year, real ID. So interesting. So special facility, it says is FF. Special facility, HPSF, is preferred designation since 1991, is SF. Mount Weather, State Route 601 near Bluemont, Virginia, Shenandoah Valley. Type FEMA Command Center, Permanent Executive Branch Substitute. How many of you knew about this? Controlled by Homeland Security. And the facility is located near Berryville, 48 miles. That's 77 kilometers from Washington, D.C. Just like our little Hardcastle fire, 7/7, July 7th, 7/7 means Christ, Jesus, sea, and sacrifice. It also means cathedrals. And they say here, according to a letter to the editor of the Washington Post after the September 11 attacks, most of the congressional leadership was evacuated to Mount Weather by helicopter. Oh, and this Mount Weather is mentioned extensively in Milton William Cooper's 1991 book, Behold a Pale Horse. It's an 11-hour video. I'm actually listening to it right now. This is interesting that this mentions this. I'll leave you the link to that too. I might have to leave that link on my Rumble account though. So on the Wayback Machine, this mentions that Mount Weather is currently home to 8 major FEMA functional groups. I'll leave this link so you can look at all this information. But back to this one, the Executive Order 11490. So going to this 11490 Executive Order Part 3, Section 301 Functions, it talks about the Secretary of Treasury shall develop policies, plans, and procedures for the performance of emergency functions with respect to stabilization aspects of the monetary, credit, and financial system. That means if they feel the need to, they can lock up the banks and take, I think it's 30% of your money. Stabilization of the dollar in relation to foreign currencies. You mean all the dollars they've been giving to other countries? Collection of revenue, anyhow, regulation financial institutions. So it just goes on. And why are we even paying those? We're basically funding our own demise. But so talking about executive orders, you can also hear protection of the president and vice president and other designated persons as they run off to Mount Weather, which is 77 kilometers away from Washington, D.C. And here looking at the Federal Register, this is .gov, Presidential Documented Archives, and here's Joe Biden. 77 executive orders can be downloaded. So we have a president of the United States. Okay, sorry for my skipping around, but I'm looking at this executive order, and it was of November 18th, 2021, and Biden finally termination of emergency with respect to situation in Burundi. So I guess American taxpayers were paying for some situation in Burundi, including the killing of and violence against civilians, unrest, incitement of imminent violence, and significant political repression, which threatened the peace, security, and stability of Burundi. Maybe this was a little bit of a tester to see how the American people would respond to things like sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. Maybe not enough people said anything. So maybe that was a little fishing line he threw out there. No one responded, so what the heck, we're just gonna, oh, of course, November 22nd, so there's 11/22. So Burundi is, Republic of Burundi is a landlocked country in the Great Rift Valley where the Africa Great Lakes region and East Africa converge. So landlocked. Here's Burundi. Let's go check this out. So I just dropped our little guy right next to that Burundi signal, and here's spider net with a little triangle. Interesting. We've got a Leo sign there, which like lion, and we've got the Is that BBC or BBQ? Probably BBQ. So this is where our funds went for the state of emergency that Biden declared, I guess. So I guess on November 18th, 2021, he undid that emergency declaration. I guess I should say declaration in Executive Order 13712 shall not affect action taken or proceeding pending, not finally conclude. Anyhow, why are we doing emergency declarations in a total different country, Burundi? This is just so confusing. Under Authority of Reorganization Act of 1939, various agencies were transferred to the executive office by the president's reorganization plans. That's what I'm concerned about. What are the reorganization plans? Let's go look at this. Oh, actually, though, before we do go there, this is significant documents. This is good. Freedom of Information Act by the executive office of the president of the Office of National Drug Control Policy. So 522. We should be using this more often, but sometimes I've heard they take months to give the information. This is an interesting one. Federal Awarding Agency Regulatory Implementation of Office of Management and Budget's Uniform Administrative Requirements, Cost Principles, and Audit Requirements for Federal Awards. Farm Service Agency. There's the Department of National Institute of Food and Agriculture, Treasury Department, Small Business Institute of Music. Look at all this stuff. Oh, God. Oh, okay. That was December 26, 2000. This rule is necessary in order to incorporate into what? Incorporate into what? Oh, so it's to incorporate a uniform guidance as required by OMB, and that's Office of Management and Budget. This implementation of this guidance will reduce administrative burden and risk of waste, fraud, and abuse for the approximately $600 billion per year awarded in federal financial assistance. $600 billion per year. Let's go see how much went to Ukraine. Okay, so just a real quick look here. So Biden's spending bill that includes $13.6 billion to Ukraine. This is March 16th. We go up to May 21. Biden signs $40 billion aid package to Ukraine. That's May 21st. Now June 15th, Biden to send another $1 billion in military aid to Ukraine. Okay, why some people here can't even feed or afford formula for their babies. Here's an article in marketrealist.com. The U.S. has spent billions of dollars to aid to Ukraine. They broke it down. It says they voted to pass the Senate, voted to pass about $40 billion bill on May 19th. And will send the money to Ukraine in the form of foreign aid. It's nearly triple the amount that was sent in March and puts the country ahead of other countries in the world when it comes to foreign aid for Ukraine. And they even bring up the baby formula shortage too, which I don't see any parents getting help for the inflation for food and stuff. Why the mind-controlled wants to keep divvying out their tax dollars. So this was May 20th, 2022. So our tax dollars are going to Ukraine while people are having a hard time even having housing. So the U.S. has sent more than $54 billion to Ukraine since the war against Russia. That's interesting. Here's a breakdown: weapons, economic support, U.S. military deployments, food assistance, healthcare and other aid, $7 billion, military security assistance, $6 billion, grants and loans for military supplies, $4 billion, migration and refugee assistance, $1.8 billion. Wow. Administration for Children and Families, 0.9. There's your 11, 9/11s all over the place. And for just enforcing the sanctions, it's $0.3 billion. So 0.3 billion has a number. It's that, and it has 10 zeros behind it. So here we have a president, July 26th, that's calling out these names, and he gets a little bit confused, it says shortly afterward he became confused and called out, "Where's mom? Mom?" So, sorry about the sound, but I'm just saying here we've got a president who's divvying out, shelling out our money, who a psychiatrist basically says that, he has symptoms of dementia, just holding on with our money though. He's shelling out our money. And here he is again, totally getting confused when he's talking to this guy about those, but he's losing his words. He can't remember what he's talking about.